This man is resilient. Grady Dick has been a guy that's been given an elevated role with all the injuries and all the trades that have made to the Toronto Raptors, and he stepped up initially, but there's no hiding it. There's no sort of beating around the bush. He's struggled a little bit as of late. He hasn't been playing the greatest. Darko Rajakovic is speaking about it. Heck, even Josh Lundberg gave a little report yesterday saying a very rough few games for Grady Dick after a productive stretch, starter minutes versus some very good and physical teams. It's taking a toll. He'll be better in the long run for it, but these are some valuable reps to learn and grow, but it's not always easy to keep things in perspective in the moment. And a lot of Raptors fans have been struggling to keep that in perspective. Now, I've refused to come out here and just bash on him after a few games, a few bad games. He's hit a bit of a rookie wall. It's completely normal for a 20-year-old guy. But in a similar vein that people were kind of writing him off at the beginning of the season, especially with his poor performance in the G League, and he was able to turn things around, really step up, prove why he was that lottery pick for the Toronto Raptors. His last stretch of games, again, he's struggled a little bit as of late, but last night against the league's maybe, I was about to say best team, potentially best team. You know, the Nuggets and Celtics are also in contention there for that sort of title, but against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are an elite roster, Grady Dick came out, stepped up, heard all the criticism, heard everything that was said, and he's not shrinking in the moment. He's not like, oh, I'm looking to the future, I'm looking to next season and seeing how things grow and blossom there. He's taking everything in stride and taking this elevated opportunity he has to close out the season. And even if he's not playing great every single night, he is hustling, he's bringing the effort every single game. And last night, it showed up into some high productive basketball. I mean, Grady Dick in last night's performance against the Oklahoma City Thunder, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 8 of 15 from the field, and hit 4 of 7 from the three-point line. Just an efficient game with the exception of his free throws against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Came out blazing, was really hot in the first quarter of that game, and just made me really proud. It's just watching a Toronto Raptors sort of young guy that's been taking all the criticism, taking all the heat lately. He's a guy that's easy to sort of meme on and hate on, you know, given his last name, given his, I want to say funny personality out there on TikTok and stuff. People love to sort of make memes about those types of guys, and they almost take it as that first versus the actual basketball player. But the thing about it, doesn't matter to Grady Dick, you know, all the goofiness, all that other stuff, you know, the memes aside, he comes out and he brings it every single night, every single game he's out there on the court. And even if he's struggling with his jump shot, which is obviously his bread and butter, he comes out with the right mindset. He's never faced. He's always confident to take his shots. He doesn't get Matt Thomas-itis where, you know, he catches it around the three-point line. He missed his first one, so he's just not going to take another one for the rest of the game. You know, he's been struggling the last couple games, so he's just going to try to pass a little bit more. Grady Dick is confident enough to fire up that basketball, to put the ball on the floor and make some drives, to make some cuts, to finish at the basket. And that resiliency from a guy that's 20 years old indicates to me that this man is going to have a very, very impressive NBA career that's going to be on an upswing. Because if you keep doing things the right way, you keep playing at that type of level, then you're just going to be a dude that gets better. Through the thick, through the thin, the Raptors are giving him the opportunity to work through some mistakes, so that also helps there now, and the fact that he's coming at it from the right approach has me extremely excited. So, shout out to Grady Dick. That was a big sort of moment, big sort of game from him last night. Impressive way to close out this, impressive start closed out the season, because the game against the Thunder, again, the Raptors did lose by about 20 points, but it was a lot better than some of these sort of tanking losses have been as of late, because as we all know, the Raptors are on a 9-game losing streak right now, but last night's loss was especially a win, because the Memphis Grizzlies, they ended up winning a game. So the Raptors end up getting a game on the Grizzlies, so they are now officially fully in that 6th sort of position, which is very encouraging, very increased odds to keep that draft pick. So I am pumped. I am hyped to see that sort of happen. I'm praying, again, the Portland Trailblazers win some games, because even with the roster that we have currently running out there now, last night we didn't have, obviously, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, Chris Boucher. Also, Emmanuel quickly was out of this lineup too. So the lineups we're running, they're just not going to win a ton of games. The Raptors have lost 9 straight, even with the encouraging performances, from Grady Dick. You know, JFL had a decent sort of game in the starting lineup. You know, Baji still needs to hit some shots, but I like what he's doing out there on the defensive end. Bruce Brown, I'm just praying he gets a few more stats, so the ability to trade him is a little bit higher come NBA draft day. And then Kelly Olynyk, his mom was also out there giving interviews and wearing an Alvin Williams jersey in last night's game. He's looking like a dude. Had a lot of turnovers. He's being asked to play that sort of Scotty Barnes role now at the forward, so I guess he's center now position for this team. Run through some of the offense through him. Had a bunch of turnovers in this game, but still it's 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I'm not worried about Kelly Olynyk. He's being asked to do a little bit too much here now at this point, and he's still playing very, very solid for this team. So the starters, again, not any crazy takeaways in a 20-point blowout loss. Jordan Nwora continues to get buckets for this Toronto Raptors team off the bench. 12 points at 3 turnovers, but 4 rebounds, 2 assists. That's some good stuff to see. Jontay Porter shockingly had 8 assists in last night's game. His playmaking, and 3 turnovers himself. So the Raptors are trying to run a lot more stuff, just more actions through their big man. And Pirtle's also a guy that can do it, so I'd be more encouraged with Pirtle doing it. Kelly Olynyk on most nights pretty good at not being a turnover machine, but still being able to facilitate. But cool to see Jontay Porter. Cool to see Kelly Olynyk having some of the offense run through him, even if it's not working out perfectly right now. But Jontay Porter's a guy that I think will be a mainstay on this Raptors roster. I think he will be on this team in the future, and people are earning their spots. Every given game, you're not sure what's going to happen for one or the other guys, but I was happy with Jontay Porter. Jamias Ramsey still playing solid defense. We aren't getting crazy impressive performances from anyone unless your name is Garrett Temple. Because Garrett Temple at 47 years old, I think he's actually 38, but in his 100th NBA season, Garrett Temple's out here cooking in 18 minutes of action at 8 points, plus 10 for this game. 2 steals, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. I mean, what are we building around Scotty Barnes for, folks? Let's give Garrett Temple the reins. Let's give him the keys to the team. And he's a cool vet to have on this roster. And Grange and some people, the Raptors beat reporters, have said, I wouldn't be shocked if Garrett Temple's around the team for a longer period of time, just as a veteran presence that can tell the younger guys how to play the game the right way. And he's still a guy that can space the floor, be a competent NBA player. So if the Raptors go back to, I'm not going to say contending for a championship by any means next season, but try to make that push for, a playoff spot, a play-in spot next season, having a vet like Garrett Temple to, just keep things rocking, keep a winning culture, and still be a capable sort of playing presence, on the deep bench. I'm cool with it. The league minimum, not eating up too much of your salary cap. So I don't know. The Raptors, we had a positive with the Memphis Grizzlies winning. The Raptors are losing. Again, the tank is in full effect here now at this point. We play the Wizards, I believe, tonight. So maybe the Raptors will get a win. Again, we want to keep that sort of push, keep the pressure on the Blazers, keep the pressure on the Grizzlies to, continue our take, to continue to maximize the potential that we get that draft pick. So not sure who I'm rooting for in these games, but I'm rooting for these Raptors players to play well, to have some big moments, to have some big games in this one. So nice to see Grady Dick overcome all the sort of trash that was being talked about him sort of lately. So happy to see him play well. But folks, you guys are the best to make this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And let's keep it locked to the Toronto Raptors as we end off this year. I'm sided out. Cheers.